I'm just out enjoying a paddle. Little tricky to do, hold a camera, and I should get one of those cameras that you can put in the front, like Survivor Man, you know. All right, today's idea for leadership, great idea being in a kayak to demonstrate this concept, and that's the idea of balance and ethics. You know, if you study anything about ethics, typically they'll have you read Socrates and then Aristotle, sorry, not Socrates, Aristotle, who talks about Plato, and Plato, who talks about Socrates. But Plato's idea of ethics, and take this into business and leadership roles, is that when you're trying to make a decision about something, that he has this notion that there is this ultimate good, this perfectness that you have to try and attain to. And so we can try and do that in our leadership roles. Well, Aristotle disagreed with him, and this has influenced me a lot. Aristotle said that when it comes to making ethical decisions, many times it's not a case of trying to find the perfect right, but rather it's a case of trying to find the balance between two evils. And I like that when I'm thinking about kayaking, because I could go one way or the other, and that's trouble, especially when you're carrying your iPhone in your hand. The thing that I think that we run into lots of times when you step up into a higher role of leadership is that what before was easy decisions, you know, the lower you are in the organizational chain, the easier decisions are, because that's the way it is. But by the time you get up into a higher level, the decisions that are coming to you, the easy ones have already been made. They come to you to help with a decision when it's a tough one that they can't find the answer to. And maybe that's because many times we're looking at it from the way that Plato did, saying there has to be an absolute right answer. And you know what? Oftentimes in leadership, you're managing tensions. You want to balance the budget, but at the same time, you want to reach out to people. You want to cut taxes, but at the same time, you want to run some good programs. I think I'm going to get some rain here, so I better talk fast. And the answer is very rarely obvious, and I think it's because we keep looking at it, saying that there must be an answer, and I'll keep trying to find it. At the end of the day, we just have to make a decision and try and find balance. And that's why I like Aristotle for his way of looking at things. You find he called it this golden mean between the two, this average between the two. And in his idea, he said that in some cases it isn't necessarily the middle, because in some situations the best is a little bit more to one side or the other, to err to one side or the other. Now, the other thing that is important to realize when you're in balance, or trying to maintain a balance, is that you need to be constantly adjusting, right? If we kind of get the sense that I need to just pick the spot that's in the middle, and once I find that right spot, then just stay there. Well, the problem there is that I hold that, and then I'll start to tip a little bit, and trouble comes. Balance is a constant adjustment, just constantly. And so maybe, yes, this year, cutting taxes is a good thing for our economy, but that's not necessarily hold the line on that for every year from now on. We've got to constantly be adjusting, and that's the same in leadership. You know, maybe yes, that was the right decision, or a good decision, healthy decision last week, but you know, this week maybe you need to shift it back. One other thing, just to talk about that, when you're in leadership, especially when you start to move up, you keep running into situations where somebody else who is looking at the situation, they're almost like armchair quarterbacks. They think they know what the answer is, but they haven't thought it through. And we can get really frustrated or start to feel discouraged because people are judging us from the outside and saying, well, it's obvious what the answer is. If they just did this, then... And you know, they're not walking in your shoes. They're not on the field playing the game and seeing what the defense is like that you're playing against. And we just have to live with that. Particularly, I think this is for politicians who especially a real smart one, they're realizing that this is about balance, and we have to, you know, yes, balance the budget and provide the right kind of programs and build bridges, but not necessarily cripple people with taxes. It's tough. My hat's off to the really good politicians. But to get elected, you've got people who are looking at one issue, just one issue alone. Cutting taxes is the way forward. And so to get that person's vote, it's kind of tough. That's what I'm kind of getting at with business. If you've got a person who has their own hobby horse, they're thinking this is the one answer. You're the leader and you know, well, that's kind of, that's, if I go that way completely, that puts me in the drink this way, or it puts me in the drink that way. It's kind of tough, and it's the reality of leadership. You're going to have to deal with the emotions of that you see the nuances, and the people you're leading think are just not even paying attention to that kind of stuff. Anyways, that's an interesting thought. I better get in because I'm going to get wet here, I can tell. So enjoy that leadership thought. If you want, please like or comment below. And people have been commenting, and I'm really appreciating that. I need to get a little bit better at promoting this kind of stuff. So if you have any ideas, let me know, and we'll go from there. Bye.